Morning, Market Chameleons. How's everyone doing today? The day before Thanksgiving in the U.S. and tomorrow the markets are closed. How you doing, Dima?
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Great. You want to start with El Disclaimer?
Yeah, before we get started, everyone, keep in mind, Will and I, Market Chameleon, we're not registered investment advisors. We're not broker dealers, and we're not telling you what to do. We're just sharing ideas. If you need professional help, call your broker. That's what they're there for. They should be able to help answer your questions, provide you with guidance. There's the disclaimer.
You know what? Every time you say professional help in my head, I think, Jesus, do I need to see a therapist? I've literally thought of that, every time, and it's always funny in my head. But I thought I'd say it the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
All
is that
right,
how it sounds? Yep.
let's roll.
All right, let me share my screen real quick. And let me know if you see my screen.
There it is.
Yep. So today let's go quickly see what's going on in the pre-market hours. I think today will be a pretty slow day. The rest of the week, because of the holidays. I wanted to also take a look. We pushed out those insider trade screener. So I'm still working on it, but the things that I've at least already kind of cleared, it's in there. So we'll take a look at that. It should be under here, insider trades. We'll take a look at that screen. I did post some images yesterday. I know we have that Discord now. A lot of people are in there.
Yeah, well, just so everyone knows, I put a link to the Discord. It's at the top of the chat. And also the Goat Roper 911 from his ranch in Texas was saying he loved you showing that yesterday on the Discord. Super
awesome. Awesome. Yep. So this will be available. We'll go over, do like a couple basic screens. I'm still running my analytical programs in the background, looking through the data, mining it, but at least like some of the basic screens we'll do today. Also come back, we'll take a look what's coming up in the earnings front, and we'll come back to the landing page, look for some bullish bearish ideas. I was in the Discord yesterday. Someone mentioned about the bearish ideas. A lot of the pre-screen symbols were mostly these stocks that are like leveraged ETFs, which tend to actually go down more often than not because of the way that they're structured. So that I think that's why the screens were pushing them out, but I did make some changes. So let's take a look what else is popping in there today. And of course, if you have questions, Will, let me know. I'm going to try to, go address the questions, give those priority. So let's take a look first, what's going on in the pre-market hours. These are stocks moving in before the market opens. We got the most active stocks, biggest percentage gainers, biggest percentage decliners. Let's first use a filter and see what's going on in the higher market cap stocks. So I'm using this market cap filter, looking for stocks with market cap $20 billion or higher. And here we go. So we see 13 made the percentage gainers list, 38 made the percentage decliners list. So a little bit more negative. Looks like at the opening than positive. Some of the ones on the top, let me see, HPQ, I think they reported earnings. Might have talked about them yesterday. That's up 5% in the pre-market hours. I think DE, they reported earnings also today before the market opened. So looks like they're up 2.9% in the pre-market hours. I don't see anything like really that jumps out at me from here. If you don't have questions, let me take a look at the unfiltered report real quick. All right, so we've got a couple stocks up here. This is the unfiltered report. So we got some lower cap stocks. This one, ANPC, biotech stock, that's up 150% in the pre-market hours on 4.9 million shares. I have another lower market cap stock here, ZKIN. Let me just see if this is also biotech. That's steel. Let me see what there's news on there. Launch spot. So it looks like they have some type of news, something with blockchain, up 62% in pre-market hours. 1.8 million shares trading hands. Just to save some time, unless you have questions on these pre-market, I'd like to kind of, because we're going to do an extra, go over that extra report.
Yeah, everyone's excited about the new feature. Jump to it whenever you want.
Yeah, so we'll do that. Instead, if questions pop up, I'll come back to the pre-market report. But let's take a look. Let's go to this screener. This is the insider trade screener. And what this is doing is it's hooking up to the SEC filings. And whenever there's a requirement to report any insider that has a big, a purchase, sale, they're required to report with the SEC. It's on the SEC Form 4. Like, here's the link to it, these file links. So when you click on it, you can go to the actual filing. So we're going out there getting them, and then we're organizing them into this insider trade screener. Now, there are some, they're not all straightforward. So the ones that are kind of more straightforward are popping in here. You might not see all these. Some of these filters are for me, so I don't think you're going to get to see these filters. But let me just set it up the way you're seeing it. You're probably seeing something like this. So keep in mind, like, sometimes, these insider trades, they're also not like purchases or sales in open market. Sometimes it's like a conversion of a warrant or a preferred stock or something like that.
Or an option, right?
Or an option. Yeah, there are a lot. Sometimes it's just like a transfer of stock from like a trust to a different trust. Sometimes it's like, they give away stock as a gift. Sometimes they get grants. So there's lots of stuff going on here. Right now, we're trying to kind of filter out the most straightforward, like, open market purchases and sales. Okay, so that's what right now we're coming at. These are the ones that we're filtering out first, because those are like where we're trying to get, like, where the intent is really somebody trying to buy stock, or the intent is somebody's trying to just sell their stock that's not connected to something else that's going on. So having said that, right now, this report, you could change it. These are the transactions in the last 3 months. You could go just like the most recent, last 2 weeks. So this is our initial filter here. Let's keep it at the last 3 months. So these are all the transactions we captured in the last 3 months. So there's like 9,842 of them. When we look at this report, I'm just going to kind of go through what these data elements are, and then we'll do a couple filters. So this is the stock symbol that was part of the transaction. That's the name of the company. This is the person's name on the filing. So sometimes it could be a person, sometimes it could be like here, like a fund. So that's the name on the company. This is what the position in the company, could be a 10% owner or director or CEO. So that's up here. Hold on, by accident I sorted it. So whenever you click on top of these columns, it'll sort by, here alphabetically, here numerically. So right now I have this sort the latest filing. So this is November 25th. That's today at 7:57 a.m. We captured this one, so that's in here. So another thing to keep in mind is, I think between the transaction date and the filing, there's like a 3-day requirement. So sometimes you'll see a filing, but the transaction happened prior. Sometimes they'll file the same day, sometimes the next day, sometimes they'll wait the full through. So they have a requirement, but the requirement gives them a little bit of room between the transaction date and the filing date. Okay, so see this filing date, November 25th. So that's when it was filed. The transaction date, November 24th. So this transaction was yesterday. The filing with the SEC was today. Okay, so let me know if you have questions, Will, as I'm going through it, but trying to explain it, and I'm learning a lot about it myself because I've been like just staring at these things, for hours. So here we have, this is the side of the transaction. if the transaction was a sell, we mark it here as a sell. If the transaction was a buy or purchase, we mark it as a buy. Here, this is the transaction price. So he sold this November 24th, $42.98. This was the stock PRAA. This is where the price is today. So we're just tracking what happened to the stock since the transaction price. So we're looking at the current price. This is the trade price. So what happened to the stock? So we kind of track, what's going on since then. Here we have, this is the number of shares in the transaction, 2,500 shares. So that's what he sold, 2,500 shares. This is the notional value of the transaction. So basically, if you sell 2,500 shares for this $42.98, that's $107,450, $107,450 worth of stock. And this is what he has remaining shares that he's holding, right? So he sold a portion, a little bit over 10% of what he was holding, which I don't think anything is unusual about that. So let's take a look. If nobody has questions about,
we did have one question. We had a question concerning, is there an ability to search by, say, stock symbol?
Yeah. So if you just wanted to do like by specific stock symbol, you could just like enter it here. So here, like, see, I see a Twitter here. So let's just do Twitter, right? And this will show you all the Twitter ones in the last 3 months. So you can see here a bunch of sales. But again, some of these are not that unusual because, these people probably are certain portion of their stocks they do sell. That's how they, a lot of them, that's how they get compensated. They'll just sell it when they need cash. So not all of these trades are unusual. I wouldn't, we like our job is kind of to like, let's see what would be an unusual trade. So, these to me, he's selling a portion of his holdings. He's selling a portion of his holdings, just to raise cash. I don't think this happens all the time, right? Because they probably never even purchased this stock. They probably got it as grants, right? All these chief accounting officers, all these people, probably it could have been like the original, the way they originally acquired these were probably like grants, warrants, options because they work there.
Yeah, and the larger they are up the food chain, a lot of them just put them into trusts that actually sell them as they, they rotate the sales so it doesn't look, suspicious to sell, or they do bits at a time. So
yeah, exactly. So
we do have a couple more questions, Dima. Len was asking, is this part of what subscription package is this a part of?
So I think this will be part of, I believe it's part of like the stock trader subscription and the total access. So the total access includes all of
So it'll be for stock traders and total access. All right. Mike H is asking well, it's not available yet, but how did you get to it? So
no, this one is available. So under stocks, right?
Gotcha.
You should be able to see it under insider trades here. So some of these are my internal stuff, but it's right under the screeners. So if you go to stocks menu and then under the screeners, we added it right under here, insider trades.
Gotcha.
I think it should be available. If you guys don't see, let me know, but I think that it should be available today because I was talking to the developers and they said they're going to push it out. So
well, that was the last question was from Jake, and he's asking, is it live? So there you go, Jake. It should be live, and I'm sure you dig into it, Jake, and you will find something that's amiss and help us out. It takes all the chameleons getting on it to kind of, as much as Dimitri's worked on it, there's like all technology, there'll be some bugs. So
so here one just came in, I think, I don't know if this one was in there before. You'll have to refresh the screen, but as these, now remember, we're not pushing all the SEC Form 4. We're only pushing out the ones that we've, filtered out, that we said, okay, this transaction doesn't look like it's part of a, some kind of conversion that you have to like read and figure out, or, a grant or something. This looks to us like, it's part of a, open market purchase or sale. And if you click on it, over here, it'll take you to that SEC. This is, see, Form 4. You click on it here, and you could read about it. So here's, here's the name, the ticker symbol. Here's a transaction. It's a sell. This is the amount. This is the price. This is what he had afterwards. So there's more information here. Sometimes you get like these little footnotes down here, so you'll have to read about him. That's where they start getting a little bit tricky. We're like, well, what happened here? And then there's always something. It's not, some of these are not like just standard transactions. They'll have like sometimes like a paragraph almost of what's going on. So those are the things that we're kind of saying, okay, we don't know what's going on there. Let's not put it into the screener yet, because it's not just a regular, intent to buy a stock or sell a stock. Something else is going on. Does that help?
Yeah, that's super helpful.
Okay. So now that we're seeing this, let's take a look at, I'm going to take a look from the buy side and sell side. Okay, what at least let's take a look at what we might think is like the most unusual, right? So then we got to like try to screen for something that's extreme. So I'm going to first, you have this, you could just switch to buy and sell over here. So let's take a look at the buy side, and I'm going to look at it from the perspective of that the notional value of the purchase had to be over $1 million. Okay, so that's a pretty serious purchase, right? Like sometimes you'll see people purchase like, $5,000 worth of stock, 2,000. I mean, I don't know if that's a very strong indicator, if a director purchases like $5,000 worth of stock to say like he's that convinced, but I think over $1 million, that shows a lot of conviction, at least in what you're doing. So let's do that from the buy side. So over here now we see these are filtered out. So this is the stock symbol, FTSI. If you want to just learn more about it, you never heard of it, you click on this little info sheet, and here it talks about, this is the stock, this is the industry it's in, energy, oil and gas and equipment, which is interesting because we've seen a lot of rotation into these energy sectors in general, not just by insiders, but looks to me like by institutions that are rotating within the S&P 500, and we talked about that yesterday. So this is the sector it's in. You have 52-week high low here. You have trading information. If you want to read about it, just hit the about. It tells you what this company does. Earnings history. So you could read more about it in here without leaving this page. If you wanted to add it into a watch list, if you click on this little plus, you could just add it to one of your watch lists, or you could create a new watch list by scrolling all the way below, say like new watch list, give it a name, insider buys, click add. That creates a new watch list, and it'll put this one in there, so you could then just go through and click these off if that's what you wanted to do. Anyway, FTS.
Do you know when an insider trade has to be filed? We're getting a question from.
I think it's. I have to go look at. I think they have like 3 or 4 days between the time they do it to the time they have to file it. Okay, so you could get up. I think you could get up to like 4 days. Like, well, look here. Here's one. November 19th was the transaction date. The filing November 23rd. Now, remember that November 23rd is when they filed. That means that's when it's available to the public. So November 19th, it's not, even though they did the transaction, other people wouldn't know about it until, it was made available. So the filing makes that available to the public all at the same time, but they have around 4, I think they have like 4 days to do the filing after the transaction date. But sometimes they'll do it like here. this was November 24th, and they filed it November 24th, right? November 23rd, they filed November 24th. So they have up to 4 days, but they could do it sooner.
There you go.
Right. And then you could see like transaction date and the filing. So there's the difference.
I think you said this, but maybe Len came in later. He's asking what info is on the owner name.
So on this is the you mean like from the SEC filing? What info?
That I actually read exactly what Len's asking. I was assuming it says owner name in that column.
So we have, let me just take a look. So these are statistics we're still working on, but if you click on the owner's name, if you click on that person's name, you could go and just see the history of that owner, what they've done. So this will give you like a complete history. But this is on the owner. This is the history that we have on the owner, but we are running statistics to see historically, like here's a 10% owner, right? So they could be a 10% owner of other stocks. So what we're doing right now, running analytics to see what owners have a good track record. Like, historically, when they did purchases, what tended to happen to the stock, 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months later, because some of these people are doing their homework, especially if you look at the biotechs. Like, I've been noticing, I was like, oh, wow, like some of these people really do their homework before they purchase, and they have good track records. So they stick usually within a certain sector. They really know those sectors and they know how to do their homework in certain stocks. Not all of them. Like sometimes you just see, just funds all over the place, but certain ones, they do their homework and they have very good track records. And by the way, we've had, what alerted me to it was we had customers who actually, that's their part of their strategy, where they get an edge by following certain, they have their own, I guess, checks, but this is one of the checks that they do.
Very cool. Sorry, there's so much chat about it. Is there any way to get figure out a change of ownership? Someone was asking that, and actually, Pavel was, which is interesting because we do there. There's so many email options that we send out. I often wonder how many get opened, but he feels this would be a great email service as well. Like if you're a premium member, you can register to get emails for alerts.
Yeah, and we're still looking at, like, usually, this will be the first day we made it available to and we try to test it as much as we can, but once it gets available, that's where you really find people using different ways and alert you to things that we don't notice, right? Like, so anything, usually that's when in the very beginning stages, that's where we get like reports on bugs or, you guys didn't download this filing or this filing, so we're just kind of going through that process. So we try to, as much as we can, before we try to go through it. So this has already went through all the processes that we take it through. The next is there are people who use these for years. We have customers I talk to who use these for years, know more about it than I do.
So you're saying this was a customer-driven product for the Chameleon community?
This was a customer-driven, because I've seen repeat requests. People have a lot of success, telling me about, how they look at it, use it, pointed me to, and I always knew it existed, but we've never had it on our website, pointed me to, other websites and stuff like that. So then, it took us, our developers to go out there, figure out how to get them from the SEC, parse it, and kind of present it. But this was more customer driven.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of off topic. I don't know why we're getting thumbs down for this conversation. This seems like a great tool. All chameleons out there, please give us a thumbs up. I've never seen 2 thumbs down on a morning show. It's driving me it's upsetting before Thanksgiving, I must say, D.
Okay, well, you have to have critics, right? If you don't have your critic, well, actually, one of our customers said, like, the easiest thing to do is be a critic, right? To be the critic is the easiest thing to do. But if you don't have critics, you're not trying anything new.
It's
right?
funny because we have so many of the daily chameleons on asking questions, and we're answering them all. So it's just funny. But thumbs up are always appreciated. I'm joking about the thumbs down. That's always appreciated too. But if you are giving us a thumbs down and we just got a third one, please go to the forum and let us know what you're finding wrong with the product or with the community, because the chameleons love this community. One of them, the doctor, created a Discord group. If you're just joining us, and I've put multiple links out there to the Discord group. I will put one at the end of the show as well. And there are people on there all day. D, you were on there yesterday. Talking about how great the product is. And actually, Brad, who joined the first time this morning, I haven't seen him before. He actually says he wants a whole show on this product, how to use it, this piece of the Chameleon insider trading. So maybe, tell me if I'm jumping the gun, but maybe our next webinar next Monday we can do on this. How about that?
Yeah, that's possible. Like I said, right. And as we're moving along, we're going to be improving it, right? So this is the first day. We're going to be improving it. But let's just take a look. Again, these I'm filtering out the biggest notional buy purchases, right? So here, like we said, FTSE, we have 3 buys, right? 3 buys, different dates, different prices, right? Accumulating shares over 3.5 million, $5.8 million worth, 2.7 million. So you could see here, this is just, purchasing as it's going up. So that's FTSI. BH here, 10% owner, November 20th, made a purchase, $104.19. Stock's up 7% since then. He bought $1.8 million worth of stock, right? And adding to a position. NGTX, same thing, November 23rd, buys half a million shares, $6.4 million worth, adding to his total number of shares. That stock's kind of like right there, unchanged. Now, you could also sort this by highest notional. Right now, I have it sorted by the most recent filing. We could go maybe in the last, let's say, 2 weeks, narrowed down to more recent. And let's take a look at highest notional. So these are by highest notional. So this is $6.4 million worth of shares, MGTX. If we open it up, we can kind of see here, biotech. PRTY, 6 million shares. $6 million worth of stock bought November 19th. Party City, let me just see what they do. So this specialty retailer. COTY, November 20th, bought it for $6.20. That's $6 million worth of stock. That's up 21% since the purchase. DHR, November 19th, bought for $226. $6 million worth of stock. Right now it's down 3.5% from there. That one, FTSE, we looked at FTSI, MPLN. This was done on November 16th. Bought the stock $7.11, almost $5 million worth of stock. And you can see that, there's like 2 purchases over here on 2 different dates. So that's really quickly from the purchase side. Let's do one really quickly from the sell. So the sell side, like I said, it's not unusual to see sells, but what I do think, at least right now, what I've been doing from the unusuals, I'm looking at, see, these are shares held after the trade. So I sort these where they actually just liquidated the entire position, which there, I think, depending on how much, I have it set to 1 million, there might be some reason to look at and say, well, they got rid of everything, especially if it's very big positions. That might be something to take a look at, what's going on with the stock. Sometimes, the stock has a big run up on some kind of some kind of news and sitting there, maybe that's an indicator that they feel like, hey, that's a good price to just get out, right? Like, why would somebody just get out of everything all at one time? So that's from the sell side really quickly, and from the buy side, the two unusual screens that as starting points.
Well, awesome job, D. We're getting close to the opening bell. We did have a question from Goat Roper. I'm thinking maybe you could carry this over to the Discord group with a screenshot or something. He's asking,
Sure.
the shares held after trade show 0 shares left.
Yeah.
He wanted to see a full screen of that. Actually, I see you have that up there right now. It's shares held. So there you see it. Maybe you can just send a screenshot over to the group. He was saying he likes the sell side better when looking for trades. So there you go, Chameleons. Thanks for joining. Great job, Dima.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great trading day. Hope to see you guys with Friday or
Friday, we're going to do it, buddy.
Yep.
Turkey tomorrow, and then Friday we're up early for the show. So that's great. Remember, it's always a light day on Friday. I remember twiddling thumbs when we were on the floor. There, the bell just went off. Thanks so much. I put a link to the Discord in the chat again. Get over to the Discord group, join. I'm sure Jake's going to be there. Hot Potato, Pavel, Goat, everyone. And Raj. Actually, you don't want to forget Raj. Thanks, everyone. D, have a great day, buddy.
Have a great day.